Welcome to the Curly Hair Q&A show. I am your host, Ken Nickels, and I'm here with Melanie Nickels. I'll explain in a minute. She is the founder of the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida. It's one of the top curly hair salons in the country, and Melanie is one of the top curl and color experts anywhere in the world. She is also the founder and created of the Raw Curls brand of natural and organic salon professional curly hair products that can be found at rawhairorganics.com. So welcome tonight. This is show number 156 if you've been following along the days. So those are individual ones, and we post them in our different curly hair groups that we have online periodically whenever somebody around here gets a chance. And actually today, Lionel and Helen have been making a couple more. They got 3 more done today. That'll go up sometime during the week here periodically. So anyway, so check those out. We are also live streaming tonight. Besides there, that's the best user experience. That's why I tell people. Instagram at Raw Curls. Hey, Instagram, they're on their own feed, so they actually get to see some stuff. Wave to them. They get to see some stuff that you guys normally don't or hear or whatever usually, but not today. But anyway, that's all hooked up and running. Hey, you guys. Where else are we live streaming? Oh, the on Facebook in the Curly Girl support group, in the DevaCurl user support group, on the Curly Hair Q&A group page. Where else? The DevaCurl user support group. Where else, Lionel, are we live streaming tonight? You think that should be it, so we're not anywhere else. We're not in the Curly Hair Specialist group, the professional group? Do you know? Oh, we are in there too. Okay, so that's where we are today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 live streams right now. Also, usually about 10 o'clock tonight when the show is over, the show will also be available as a podcast, Curly Hair Q&A show, and you can listen to that wherever you consume your podcasts, which could be anything like Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Podcast Addict, and now on SoundCloud. So you can consume us anywhere, and especially tonight and tomorrow on our award-winning 2019 award-winning podcast. So anyway, all right, let's get started and get into a couple of things first. Hey, I got a fun fact. I got a really interesting fun fact. Probably for most of you this won't matter, but for some of your significant others and husbands, you can tell them this is kind of funny. So the Daytona 500 was supposed to be run yesterday, and they ran 30 laps and got rained out. So this afternoon, they're running the rest of it, and they're running it right now. Actually, it should be almost over. It was a wreck, but anyway, so I had it live streaming on my computer on my desk. But here's the fun fact: the track announcer today. So if you've been watching it on TV or listening to it on the radio, the track announcer is Mr. Jim Trado, which is a very good longtime friend of Melanie's and I. Swear to God, honest to God. So the guy you're hearing on radio and TV and whatever is our friend. He and his wife Sue, and they've been to our wedding and stuff. We've known forever, probably close to 30 years. And here's another fun fact. Jimmy Johnson was invited to our wedding. It's a long story. I won't get into it, but I came from kind of those circles, so I know a lot. I knew a lot of those people before they became famous, just because I was in those circles. And someday when I have time to kill, like today, but I won't today because I think I'm out of time to kill. But anyway, someday when something happens and I have time to kill, I'll tell you guys. But anyway, so I know a lot of those guys, but it was long. But it was long before anybody was famous, and it is really kind of cool now to see stuff like today, like Jim Trado on, track announcer. That's the thing I wanted to bring up. I forgot. Jim was the one that introduced yesterday President Trump and the First Lady to give the command to the drivers. That guy that you heard introducing them, that's our good friend Jim. So, fun fact. You guys want a fun fact? You want to know stuff about our lives? That's pretty much it. So, anyway, okay. So tonight, I'm going to touch on a couple of. We are both going to touch on a couple of topics. And I know it's not pandering, but it's in the news and it's topical. And, we're going to talk about the DevaCurl situation and now the DevaCurl lawsuit. For those who have not heard, I'm going to give you some updates. And I'm trying not to beat a dead horse, but you guys got to understand. this has been really difficult for us over the last 9 months now since this kind of started. Gosh, how do because we're, here's the thing is, between Melanie and I, we're not only longtime experts in the product manufacturing business, but we're Melanie is for sure, longtime experts in the salon, and curly hair industry from behind the chair. And I know a lot of know, my whole background from everything from venture capital to distribution to trucking companies to warehousing to international exporting and importing. I mean, we have a lot of background. And what really sucks is when you have a situation like this play out, you get everybody and their brother on YouTube who decides to make a video because they decide to make a video and talk about the situation. And the vast majority of them are not experts on the topic and really don't have anything to offer other than the same thing that all the rest of them are offering, which is, complaining and telling their story. And, it's not, to me at this point, it's not offering anything. So we're in this weird predicament because we have that background and we have this platform. I mean, this is the, the number 2 in 2019 curly natural textured hair podcast in the country. It might even be better this year. We get a lot of listeners, so we have this platform, and so it's tough because we want to give you, since last June or July, we've been wanting to tell you things, but we can't because it's tricky. And yeah, we know a lot of these people that are involved in this particular situation. The Thursday afternoon, one of the people who is very, very close to that situation, who I know a lot of is our friend, who's my friend, right? Has made it perfectly clear to me that that friend doesn't care what I say, doesn't care, understands the position that we're in. And that's great. I really appreciate it. And I to a point, I would rather not get into it rather than push that. But because I've, I don't worry about that, I guess is what I'm telling you. I don't worry about that. But at the same time, I in particular, am really stuck between a rock and a hard place because I can tell you a lot more of this situation that if you've noticed, I haven't said anything until the last 2 weeks other than bringing some comments up like you saw a few shows back where I said, hey, I don't know. When somebody asked about the question, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have enough. And there's a reason I don't have enough or whatever. But, but there is a lot that I do know just from being in this industry. But, what ends up happening is, like I said, 2 weeks ago we made one video, put it out there. Really good information. A couple of days ago, we put out, it might have been Saturday, I forgot. We put up another video a couple of days ago, put that thing up, and had a lot of good insider information that you wouldn't know unless you're an insider. And if you could see the comments, that we delete and the stuff that shows up in my inbox, you'd make a sailor blush. I mean, they friggin' come at me hard because people are passionate about this subject. And, the number one thing is they come at me because they believe that the only reason I'm doing it is because I want to sell product. We want to sell product. Melanie, on the other hand, I won't even throw her into this because Melanie's one of those people that she's so laser focused on her craft. To be real honest, she'll talk about it if you bring it up, but she doesn't care. She doesn't care what anybody else is doing. She really does not. You can because I know her. You can tell by looking at her face and when rolling her eyes. She doesn't even want to talk about it. She didn't care. It's not, it's not my, why do I care? I got a lot going on. I got a multinational company and I got a salon that's, huge and just a lot. She doesn't care, right? So So anyway, so the predicament that I end up in, oh, Melanie's here. Is Murphy here? So the predicament that I'm in is that if I speak up and I tell you the stuff that I know, I get attacked that I'm shilling for my own stuff. You know, but at the same time, if I don't say anything, then people think I'm trying to protect, you know, other people or other companies or whatever. And, you know, I can't win either way. If I say something, I get bashed. If I don't say anything, I get bashed. But at the same time, I came to the conclusion last week when we shot that first video. I came to the conclusion after watching a bunch of people getting 2, 3, 4, 1.8, 1.9, you know, 2 million views, and I'm watching what they're talking about, especially a couple that just came out in the last couple of days, and I'm like, and these people are commenting on the DevaCurl situation. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're talking about stuff that they have no idea. It sounds really good. It sounds really good, but the fact is that unless you're inside that you know, that industry like I am, you know, or she is, you wouldn't know. And I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm like, it's no help. But then again, I knew what would happen, and you know, so I did the first video, and you know, people, you know, a lot of people thought it was great information, gave me good, you know, feedback on it, whatever. And then I got a lot of nasty comments and emails and whatever, because it's stuff people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear. But the fact is that I don't care if you want to hear it or not. You know, I mean, if it's the truth, I'm gonna tell you. You can, whatever you do with that knowledge, that's up to you. That's up to you. It's not gonna change. It's not gonna change what's coming out of my mouth. We'll see. You know what I'm going to do, Melanie? I'm going to do a short video this week, and I'm going to show people the difference. I'm going to show people the difference between food grade and pharmaceutical ingredients and industrial. I'm going to take a black sheet of cardboard, and I'm going to dump them side by side so people can see them.
Okay.
It's going to be, oh, I can't use black. It's going to have to be white, because it's got to show the inner. It's, yeah. Anyway, we're going to do a video on it, and I'm going to show you guys, and it's going to be real. It's going to be really eye-opening. But yeah, so after I made a bunch of those comments, I saw somebody else come out with a, never mind, acting like they knew, like it was them. Like, anyway, it's exhausting. But the fact of the matter is, and here's a fun fact. I just gave another. You know, I gave a fun fact while we were waiting for you. You know, yesterday at the Daytona 500, you know, President Trump and the First Lady came and gave the command to the drivers. And I said, here's a fun fact. I said, the guy that did that, the track announcer, is our good friend, Mr. Jim Trado, and he and his wife Sue are at our wedding and everything, and we've known him forever.
Yep.
Anyway, it rained out, so they're racing right now, and I had it on the live stream and whatever, and you can hear him. Anyway, he's our real friend. Anyway, so that's that. But anyway, so like I said, I'm going to do 1 or 2 little short videos and whatever. You guys do whatever, you know. I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. I got no dog in this fight. And here's another fun fact. Everybody thinks like when something like this happens or whatever, that, you know, that we jump on the bandwagon to do this, whatever, you know, because you just want to, you know, make money, and people get pissed that we do this and this is up here in the background. You guys on live stream see we got a paparazzi background. Let me tell you, when stuff like this happens in the long run, we have analytics that we can tell exactly what's going on our websites and our, you know, e-commerce sites. They never go up more than 1%. I ain't retiring on anything I say about DevaCurl. Let's just get straight. I ain't. It never happens. It's everybody thinks that, ooh, if you go in there and bash there and talk about your product, everybody's going to come to you. No, they don't. I wish they did. Then I'd do it. I ain't that way. I would do it, but it doesn't. It just, the numbers don't lie. It just doesn't. But I'd like you to. So if you're looking for an alternative, I'd really prefer that you would choose. Can
we turn you down in my
no,
mic a little bit,
you're
because
gonna listen
you're like
to me.
super loud.
Go to rawhairorganics.com and grab some Raw Curls products if you're looking for another brand. Anyway, I'll turn you down. So, all right, Melanie, tell everybody where you've been and where you are, and where's my Murphy Murph?
She's out there.
Oh, okay. Anyway, all right, introduce yourself.
Introduce myself.
Yeah, just say hi, I'm here.
Okay, I'm here. Hey, this is my show, Mondays with Melanie, but it was without Melanie. Yeah, no. Okay, well, that's mine. You just turned mine down.
Because you wanted.
No, I wanted yours turned down. You're
do it.
screaming in my
That's how you
ears.
do it.
Okay, well, that's too much.
How's that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know. just really pissed off right now because I was late.
I told them.
Yeah. So I'm not in a good mood.
So if anybody is looking for a position as a stylist or a front desk person or somebody that will actually do the friggin' towels and clean up the kitchen and stuff, we'd be more than happy to take a look at your
Well,
resume.
we have positions available. You know, I need some good stylists. I think I just hired a front desk person. She actually ended up coming for her interview anyway, but that's why I was there at work interviewing someone for that position. So hopefully it'll work out.
If your mom wasn't blind, I'd drag her down here and I'd stick her right in that front desk.
Yeah, even blind, she could do a great
Put her back to
job.
work.
All she's got to do is she can, work on the computer and answer the phone, and she can do everything that she needs to do, even though she can't see. Yeah, except for maybe write in the book. That's all. But
Right.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the DevaCurl lawsuit. I'm going to read to you a article that came out in the New York Post the other day. Turned out it's from Wednesday night or Thursday morning. A group of curly-haired consumers filed a class action lawsuit against the maker of a popular hair care brand, claiming use of the products leads to scalp irritation and hair loss. DevaCurl No Poo Original Conditioner, manufactured by the defendant in the suit, Diva Concepts, is marketed as a sulfate-free alternative to shampoos for customers with curly hair, according to the Manhattan Federal Court suit. But treating your locks with a various number of DevaCurl products, including the conditioner, leads to, quote, scalp irritation, excessive shedding, hair loss, thinning, breakage, and or balding during normal use, the suit alleges. The suit, which was filed Wednesday, says, quote, thousands of consumers have reported such adverse effect, with some filing FDA complaints and others voicing their concerns on Facebook and groups like ours. DevaCurl, quote, provides no warning about these consequences and, in fact, makes numerous assertions about the gentle and beneficial nature of the products, unquote, the suit says. Had DevaCurl users known using the product would cause hair loss, they would have not purchased them, unquote, according to the suit. Now, here's where it gets interesting, for those of you who don't know. The three lead plaintiffs in the case are Ginger Dixon of Pennsylvania, Elena Hall of Brooklyn, New York, and Christina Napolitano of West Babylon. I have not heard of any of those three people. If they are in any of our groups or any of you know who these people are, if they are in the curly hair groups, please have them reach out to me. I'd love to have any of the three or all three on a future episode of the Curly Hair Q&A show. So we are next week, as a matter of fact, we're going to have on a curly hair influencer, Brandy Pope. You might know her as the Glam Bell, is coming on next week, Monday night, do some Q&A. She's going to tell you about her and her daughter's DevaCurl hair loss situation, and you can hear it right from her. So anyway, so that's that on that. Now, do you got any comments on that, or do you want to?
Well, I've commented before, and I think there's so many factors that go into hair loss, so it's really interesting, and I think going to be difficult to prove that just using a hair product is causing hair loss, because it could be, you don't know what this person's doing. You don't know what their hormonal situation is. You don't know, did they have like tons of highlights and that's why their hair is breaking off? It's like there's so many other factors. So I don't know. That's what just comes to my head, because I have clients that use the product that love it and they've never had a problem, and I have had some clients that didn't like it and they've had some issues. So, it is what it is. But is it just from that? It's hard to say. Again, there's is somebody on a lot of prescriptions? Is there, a lifestyle? Is there a lot of stress? There's all these things that can go into like hair loss and damaged hair. What are people doing? Are they coloring, highlighting, perming? So anyway, the list goes on and on. It's just, I think, hard to narrow it down to just one product causing that situation.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough, and and that goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Is it's really tough for people in our position to comment, and that's why I find it really, really interesting that so many of these very, very well-known, influential people in the curly hair influencer world are absolutely, they're not even going down. They're doubling and tripling down. And hey, I get it, but the reason, now I'm not saying the cause, but the reason, there's so many pieces involved here that I think laying it out to one, I I can't double down on that. It's not, I'm not, and that's the thing. See, here we go. We'll have this conversation. I guarantee we're going to get blasted. But what about my? We're not talking about my. We're talking about a class action lawsuit. That means a lot of people. That's the thing. If it's you, Susie, filing the lawsuit, we can look at Susie and we can try to figure out where your damages came from, who's culpable, if anybody, whatever. That's one thing. To group all this together, man, fun to watch, but
yeah,
dang.
I mean, it all goes back to, again, it's like, okay, so, I'm not a fan of the using just a conditioner, co-wash kind of thing in replacement of, actually cleansing the hair. But that was Diva's whole thing, that it's formulated properly, because it's not just a one product wonder like how the Wen was. This is a cleansing product, plus they have their conditioner. So, but are people using it properly? Are they just using it once? Are they only washing their hair once a week? Are they washing their hair every 2 weeks? Then you're going to get buildup on your hair. There's always other factors, I feel like I've learned, it's important to clarify and, detox the hair once in a while, just because not only, even with,
the hair or the scalp or both.
It depends. It depends on what products if you're using products that have a lot of waxes and cheap ingredients that can build up on the hair, then the hair. But I'm saying even the scalp, even using a clean, water-soluble product like ours, you're going to have your own oils from your scalp and your own dead skin cells that build up that should be exfoliated.
Yeah.
Like we do on our skin. It's constantly producing oil and shedding, dead skin cells that need to be, exfoliated away. So, again, there's so many different factors, but there definitely can be buildup from a product like that where, you're not getting a deep cleanse or, doing that clarification or exfoliation.
Yeah. I will make this offer to you guys. For those of you who don't know, Melanie is also a trichologist, and we have a fancy dancy trichology machine. Is that what that thing's called? Trichoscope. I knew it. Why did I say that? We have a fancy trichoscope at the salon. So if you are one of these people who are having issues that you believe are directly related to the DevaCurl products, and you're going to be in the Naples, Florida area, or would like to be, everybody would like to be. If you can make it down to our salon, give us a call, and you can come in and get looked at, and Melanie can tell you what the heck's going on. And you can actually watch it because we've got a monitor in that room. You can actually, as Melanie goes through your scalp with the microscope thingy, you get to see it. So you get to see exactly what's going on.
Yeah. You can see the oil. You can see, dead skin cells that are built up. It looks like ice or snow. So it's really interesting that, you get to see that and look at it together. Yeah.
Now, related to that, I'll take another step back. And again, I want to talk about all this because it's topical. It's what's going on. It's what's in the news. So Friday afternoon, I had a long conversation. I had a long phone call with our friend Sherry Harbinger. And Harbinger, I always say it wrong. Anyway, had a long conversation with her on the phone, and we weren't even talking about this. We were talking about something else, another project that we're all working on. So I didn't even bring it up, and it just kind of came up. And all she said, "Hey, if you saw my Instagram story or my Facebook stories this week, I showed where I use the DevaCurl products in my own shower, on my own head, and just like I have been for the last 15 years or whatever. And I got, here's exactly how I did it. Here's exactly what I've been doing every single, day since. And here's what my hair looks like, and I'm experiencing nothing. And she just left it at that. And and we didn't talk like I said, we didn't talk any further about that. But again, I think I told you this. I don't know if I told you this, but we after talking to Sherry, we can talk about this any way we want. We don't have to tiptoe.
So I'm curious to know how many of the people, this just came to me, that are having problems are just consumers buying the product directly, like from stores because it's sold everywhere now, or that aren't going to a salon and being taught how to use it. Because when you go to a salon and like mine, and you come for a curly cut, we go through the process of cleansing and washing and styling your hair and product usage and tips and everything. That's part of the cost, which someone today felt the cost was too much, but that's besides
happens
the
all
point.
the time.
Yeah. So regardless, and you would be surprised how many people I've had come in to my salon that have had a Diva cut before at a Diva salon by a Diva trained stylist that aren't familiar with this process or the proper techniques. So anyway, we go through it. And so I'm curious, I'm wondering if how many of those people that are having problems are just buying products directly and never having proper training.
Very well could be. I mean, Facebook memories is a funny thing. It can be quite embarrassing and it can be quite interesting. Well, this last week or so, 2 of them have showed up in my feed in the morning, and one of them I shared online in the curly hair groups. That was from 3 years ago. But one of them was, and I know a lot of you who are the old school people who have been around us for a long time, and like long before we had the curly hair groups and whatever, and when we were just doing raw videos and stuff on our personal stuff, the good old days. Remember the good old days, our kitchen and stuff like that, whatever. I was doing them in before this podcast studio was converted, when it was just a crappy old office. I mean, I did a lot of those, and I did a 3-question Q&A on a Friday or Saturday night, like 8-9 o'clock at night. Said nothing to do and you're at work. And I talked about co-washing, and there's a large Facebook group that's the co-washing group, and I talked about, because there's so many people that talk about techniques in co-washing. I mean, there isn't just one. There's several different theories on what to use, and apple cider vinegar and some other this and that, whatever, and some never and whatever. And I made a comment because somebody asked me my thoughts on it, and this is just me. And I said, I'm not a fan of co-washing for a number of reasons that I think are legitimate reasons. One of them was, in addition to, the scalp never really gets cleansed. And then some people said, well, you use ACV and whatever once a month and blah, 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 blah. And I made some comments about, you got to cleanse the scalp. You have to, I mean, it's eventually going to get clogged up and you're going to get dead follicles and, whatever. And they just rode me like crazy and said the nastiest things to me and sent me the nastiest messages. And then I doubled down, and I maybe I shouldn't have, but I did, but I doubled down and I said, I've been in that co-wash group for however long, quiet, watching. And I said, I have never, ever seen a picture that somebody posts in the co-wash group that just co-washes where their curls look better than anything that's ever rolled out of our salon. Never. And they went wild. And that's when I really doubled down, because I don't think I was a jerk. You might think I was a jerk, but I went in there and I said, okay, if anybody who's a strict co-washer can show me a picture that's better than anything that's rolled out,
always looks dirty and
we'll do
greasy
it. Right, we'll do something.
Dull.
A dull is the word that I use.
Dull.
That's literally what I said. They attacked me and said the nastiest things, sent me nasty messages, said, called me stupid and fat and old and whatever, and Melanie ugly, and you guys don't know anything, and it was just really nasty. So that's where you guys who are old school, that's the next. So the next Saturday night, I did the mean tweets episode, and I named all those people, first and last names, and read their posts. And it was,
You're spiteful.
I was angry, because you can call me all those names
spiteful.
because they're probably true. I am ugly. Well, I'm not fat, but I'm ugly and stupid. But
old.
yeah, and old. Well, I am 55 now, right? But anyway, it was just you just don't do that, right? It was just wrong, and I did that, and I guess there's a name for that, and I shouldn't have done it, but I did it, and yeah, I had people sending me things saying, hey, I'm trying to get a job here at this school district, and they're seeing this they're seeing this stuff you said that I said and whatever, and can you please delete? I'm like, nope. But anyway, don't say nasty stuff. Just
And
be
put
nice.
it out there on social media.
And put it out there on social media. People you don't know,
But here's the thing. Okay, so I don't. You might be confusing people a little bit.
Of course I am, because I'm talking too much.
Yeah. What's new? He did the same thing at our friend's funeral.
I diffused a tense situation at a funeral.
You talked too much. He was
And everybody
carrying on
forgot.
and
And
carrying
everybody
on.
forgot what happened.
Yeah, because they fell asleep. Oh my God. Anyway.
Self-awareness. I know who I am. Go on.
Talk. So I always explain that I believe in co-washing in addition to, but not for a replacement for washing the hair.
That is the right answer.
Exactly.
That is exactly the right answer.
So co-washing in between washes is not a problem. It's, it can be a very good thing. There's people that like to, wet down and refresh their hair, and, they just recondition it or use a co-washing product. But to just use that kind of product always can create a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I've been doing is, again, I'm there's so many different possibilities in this whole DevaCurl situation. I'm giving you a lot of insider information over the last several days of how things work in this industry, in addition to the things like Melanie is just explaining to you now. Who doesn't have their volume off in my control room? Anyway, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you guys, and we are trying to give you guys all those suggestions so you can look at this whole situation and really think about it. Really think about it, because there are several different things. Could it be a change in ingredients? Yup. Could it be cheap plastic bottles? Yup. Could it be adulterated? Sure, right? Could it be technique? Yup. Could be all of them. Could be a combination of all of them. Could be some of them. Could it be whatever? I debunked. I did a short little thing where I debunked a bunch of the theories that are going around. Like the stuff like the hot warehouse theory.
Here's
stuff.
another thing to think about, and how I like to explain. I like to explain things in a way people can understand, and
I like to overstate things.
Yeah. Keep it simple. So but a good analogy is like what is that stuff called that you like doing your laundry with
OxyClean?
Softener.
Laundry fabric softener.
Fabric softener. It's gonna smell fresh and feel clean, but if you continue to do that over and over and over, at some point your clothes are gonna they're gonna be dirty because you're not truly cleaning them. What's that? Dry L, I think. Oh, that's like a product used for like.
I know what you're talking about. It.
Yeah.
We don't use that stuff in our house at all, so I don't know.
That's for like in place of dry cleaning. But anyway, so the point is like co-washing only with a conditioner is like using fabric softener on your laundry. And so yes, at first it will make it fresh and seem okay, but if you continue to do that without truly washing your clothes, they're going to at some point be gross and dirty. So same thing. Think about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's that. Now, I've got several questions in here, but we're going to talk about a couple other things quick, and then we're going to get into questions. And a lot of what I started the show with was to let you guys know is that there's going to be some answers tonight that I'm going to ask Melanie, and I know she's going to bring up raw curls because she knows it. And in this situation, it's not a pandering answer; it's the right answer. So, again, Not telling you to buy any of our stuff. You're looking for answers, we'll give you answers. You know, if you think I'm going to sit here and beg you to buy and chill for myself tonight, I'm not. So anyway, I had mentioned that I also had a phone conversation on Thursday with Ouidad Steven. Yeah, that Ouidad, her. Had a conversation with her. I said, hey, for those of you who know, we've had her on the show before. We know her, obviously, because, you know, we're in the industry. And call her up and said, hey.
Well, some people honestly don't even know who Ouidad is.
Okay, Ouidad founded Ouidad, the Ouidad brand of curly hair products. She's also known as the Queen of Curls. She was the first one to really bring that to the United States and really grow it. 10 full years before
the curly cutting.
Yeah, the curly cutting and the curly system. 10 full years before Lorraine Massey at DevaCurl, also in New York City. She's the queen. She knows a lot about it. She has since sold the company, but she I don't want to say she's really involved, but she hangs around. Her daughter's a stylist, and she weighs in and whatever. And she's got a wealth of knowledge. She's got a wealth of knowledge, but she's living the way I'd like to be living. She's really enjoying her retirement years.
That's good.
Yeah, which is great. So anyway. And I will say this, she's been very nice to us. She's invited us over to us. She said, you want to talk, you need help, you need guidance, whatever. She said, just call me up. You know, you can come over to my house. We'll hang out and have lunch. I'll tell you everything I can. She's been very, very nice to us. So anyway.
I don't know if she said we can come to her house.
She did. She said, come over.
We could go to lunch.
I'll get you. Right.
You're fabricating.
I'm going to her house. Anyway, I know where it is. In Fort Lauderdale. Anyway.
It's a big place.
So she called me up. I called her up. And I said, hey, now would be a really good time to, come on and talk about this, somebody who's got the background you have and, voice of reason, right? And she said, I can't. She said, if we can do another time where I can, record it or something, we can do that. And I said, okay, if you can't do it now, we'll do that. And we were hoping that it would be this afternoon, but we couldn't do it, or she couldn't. But she told me, she said, so she gave me this quote, and she told me to read you guys this quote, and hopefully on next week's show, I'll either have the recorded version or we'll have her live, one or the other. My guess is she's traveling. Good for her.
Lucky.
Yeah. She don't care, and she's got no reason to, right? Which is great. Okay, so she sent me this. Okay, anyway, quote. I better. There's some. Hold on. She's got some personal stuff in here. I want to blank out here. Okay, all right, Ken. Okay, but I can give you a quote. Quote from Ouidad. She means people in general. I think they're being harsh on DevaCurl. Everything with moderation does not hurt you. No, here she's telling me she's going to call me back. There's also an article that was published in the New York Times in 2004 covering this exact topic with Lorraine Massey, founder of DevaCurl, and me. Unquote. So, what does Ouidad think in general, just in a short quote? She's not totally against co-washing, but I'd really like some more breakdown on that, on what her thoughts are. So she's saying everything in moderation. So I don't know. Is she meaning, cleansing with sulfates in moderation too, as well? Cleanse the scalp? I don't know. Not sure. But that's it. So in short, she thinks we're being
Does her product have
harsh.
sulfates?
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, she thinks in general we're being harsh on Diva, and hopefully, like I said, in the next couple of days we'll get a little deeper, in-depth explanation from her on what her thoughts are on that. And trust me, she ain't gonna hold back what she thinks. She will not. So that's good. Anyway, we are so lucky to have people in our lives that have been around this and have lots of knowledge that are willing to talk to us. It really is. Really, really is. All right, you want to get into some questions?
I guess, yep.
Okay.
I hope you told everybody I was stuck in traffic. That's really what. Yeah.
No, I said
There was an
I
accident.
said you were having dinner and hanging out, playing with the dog. That's what you were doing.
All right.
All right. Okay. Let's get into some questions. And like I said before, this is what it is. Melanie, where should someone start when switching over to other brands after using DevaCurl products?
Well, we always recommend that you start with a clarifying treatment. So I would recommend there's several out there that are good, but do a deep cleanse, clarifying, or what we call a detox treatment to remove anything that's on the hair previously and start with a fresh slate.
Okay. There you go. Start with a fresh slate.
Strand.
Scalp. Get it clarified. Get it cleansed. Get it detoxed. All right. Melanie, a chemist on YouTube said that adulterated raw materials could be the DevaCurl issue and that it is extremely hard to prove adulteration. How do companies then assure that this isn't the case? It sounded like anyone could fall victim to this at any time, and apparently it's not even required to test for it. You want me to answer that?
Yeah, you can go ahead, but
All right.
that's pretty much, going along with what we've said. It's so difficult. And I think you had made a comment that they said they haven't changed the ingredients. So they're using the same ingredients, but it's possible they could be using a different quality of those ingredients, which would, change the formulation, right?
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. It could be bottles for sure. I talked about that in a video. Caps and pumps. I mean, that's another thing. Is somebody brought that up, and I talked about that too. Caps and pumps.
Why would that make a difference?
Plastics used, cheaper plastics. I see it all the time. That's what happens in my industry is that I get manufacturers all the time that, when you're a manufacturer like this, if you can save 5 cents on a pump, that's a lot. That's a lot. It doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot. You can save 3 cents on a pump. If somebody sends me an email and says, "Hey, I can sell you pumps 3 cents less than I'm listening." That being said,
Yeah,
somebody
but is that
asked.
going to make your hair fall out? Like we're getting so out of control with this. I mean,
it depends. It depends on plastics, but this is how I'm going to answer that. Depending on the product in the bottle, could the product in the bottle start to disintegrate the plastics in the pumps to cause an adulteration of the product inside? Here's my answer. It's much more likely that it would be the bottle than the pump, because typically the pump is a much heavier plastic because it has to take the pounding impacts. So I don't have one here, but to show you, but I can do this next week if you want. Well, you could take it apart your own thing, but I could point it out and I could tell you about it. It would be, I mean, even a cheaper pump would be really hard to break down in a, in concentration. Now, here's the other thing is that when a pump sits into a bottle, in the neck of it, the actual pump part that I call the shot, it's what compresses what comes out, right? Pulls it in. That doesn't even sit in the product. And depending on the pump, when it pushes that shot through, it can sit empty. Sometimes they sit full. They just sit full, and then every time you press the pump, it just keeps pushing out, whatever. But not all of them. But anyway, I'd be much more inclined that it would be the bottle than the pump, but it could be. Now, cap, I doubt it, because the cap only touches the product for a quick period of time. When you have it upside down, you squeeze it out, right? If you have a dispensing cap, what we call a disc cap. So I doubt cap. Pump, maybe, but I doubt it. Bottle, could be. Not ours. We use those hard PETs that nothing leaches out of. But other brands like DevaCurl, I see the bottles they use. Yeah, possible.
well, you showed that one
Possible.
video with the travel kit.
I
where
did it again. I did it again the other
crumbled.
day. I literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's it. So to answer your question, now if you're asking about adulterated raw materials, um, raw materials. She says raw materials. Okay, raw materials. Typically, the raw materials that you would use to manufacture products would come in either, 55-gallon drums or, well, whatever, 200 kilogram. Looks like a 55-gallon drum. 200 kilogram drums or like typically like 50-pound bags, typically. Adulterated. Doubt it. Especially, like for us, especially because of USDA
Don't
organic
order 'em from
facility.
China. Yeah, but that's just it.
Good point.
I tell people if organic is super regulated. Non-organic, I don't know, not so much. But there's
Yeah.
so many regulations on making organic product claims.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just to give you an example, where the my RawganX supplement stuff is where it's packaged, USDA organic facility just got a recert. We were on one of our flavorings. We were 1/10% off. They rejected it. 1/10%.
So they're
So they're
checking
really
and
strict.
testing
They're
and, yeah,
really
and they're
strict. Yeah, push me back 2 months.
And for people that claim that we're not truly organic, what a joke! I mean, that's ridiculous. It's an absolutely absurd statement.
Oh,
You
I've been a
cannot-
real jerk lately.
yeah.
Every time I talk about it, I've been making perfectly clear. Certified organic ingredients. Certified organic.
Well, I mean,
That's really a
of
slap.
course,
People suck.
yeah. Well,
Some people. Not all
people, competitors, whatever.
Competitors,
If
yeah.
they, want to try to put you down and
That's what they do.
negate your product, but that's pretty crazy.
Yep. All right. You want to do another one? Hey, how long have we been going, you guys, in the control room?
We're gonna have to wrap it up because I've got.
Oh, you got to go.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's do this. All right. Hold on. I'm just looking at a couple because since we're going to cut this on her. All right. Good. Okay. We'll do one more question and then we'll go from there. Next week. Don't forget next week's show, 7:30 Eastern time. Melanie, I saw a video of a dermatologist who explained what happens if you don't use a sulfate to clean your scalp. Buildup, yeast growth, etc. And that the complaints made with the DevaCurl thing are the same as what you'll find if you had a yeast growth on your scalp. Itching, flaking, hair breakage, and hair loss due to clogged follicles. Do you, Melanie Nickels, trichologist, think that this is the issue that DevaCurl complainants are experiencing? Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I definitely think that those could be some of the issues, like we talked about earlier. I've been through the Diva training. Their product was made to have cleansing ingredients in them, but could there be, a problem with all sulfate-free products and why we're seeing an increase in general in hair loss, not just in the Diva products, but in the curly sector of, the community, we'll call it. When we had Deshawn on the show, she talked exactly about this.
She was the owner of Nuratress.
Nuratress, right? And this is her specialty, is
Hair loss expert.
Yeah. And we discussed that, which was an eye opener for me because I am a manufacturer of a sulfate-free hair product, and so, but it clearly made sense that. We started using all these products because they're gentle, and they're non-stripping. But that being said, to, the point that this person's making, I do believe that it's good and beneficial to periodically do a deep cleanse or clarifying treatment to, again, like I stated earlier in the program, to clarify and exfoliate the scalp for sure.
So, do you believe that all being said, and with everything that we're seeing, because you guys may not know this who are watching or listening, what's happening with DevaCurl and DevaCurl products right now is not the first time in the last 10 years we've seen this.
No,
This is not
exactly.
this is
So
not-
this is not something new, and that's why I'm saying.
They're just the biggest name that this is happening.
But it seems like this has become like a movement and a common problem. So I do think Deshawn is, correct in what she's talking about, and this dermatologist as well. And again, even using a product like mine, like Raw Curls, which is super clean, super healthy, but it's super gentle, and it's water soluble, but just our bodies produce oil and shed dead skin. So we need to be able to keep our head and our scalp clean. So, periodically it's good to use something a little bit stronger, like we do on our face. And I talk about, again, another analogy. And to women, it totally makes sense. Men, they're shaving, so they're exfoliating like daily. Women, we're using exfoliating washes and enzyme peels and vitamin C's and all these things to exfoliate, and take those dead skin cells off of our face. And that makes sense, but we're never doing that on our scalp. So I'm recommending that you do.
Which would make sense. And I'm not being weird, but
weird.
I know I am weird. You guys know. But my skin, my face is really soft for a 55-year-old guy. And it's because I use such really high quality, shaving products. I use all that organic shaving stuff, and I have for years, That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
Now let me give you the gotcha question of the night. Does the youth Melanie Nickels, curl specialist, product manufacturer, behind the chair stylist, do you believe that the curly girl method as we know it needs to be rethought and rewritten by someone like Melanie Nickels, a expert in multiple aspects of this industry besides being a behind the chair stylist? Does it need to be rewritten? Is it turning out after all these years to be flawed?
I kind of have rewritten it a bit, and Sherry and I talked about this when she was on the show live. This is an ever evolving industry. And so, to hold someone or a company or a person at fault for something that's been done in the past is somewhat ridiculous, because we're all learning, we're all evolving, and we might think something was good at one point. Well, back in the day they thought smoking was okay, and now it's like, hey, that causes lung cancer
and bloodletting to get rid of disease. I thought
Yeah.
that was like the thing.
So, here you go. It's like, okay, it seemed like a good idea because it's more gentle on the hair, but maybe now we're finding out, we need to adjust that program. I have in my salon because, the Raw Curls products is more of a sudsing cleanser. So, that's what I believe in. I believe in, and I've always said, let's call it shampoos and conditioners are created differently. They have different functions. So they're formulated with different pH levels, and so I believe that it's good to use those products, not just always wash your hair with conditioner. So, and then now we've been just using, for the most part, the people that have been on my product, it's like cleanser, the conditioner, and the styling aids, and they're super clean, super gentle, water soluble, great. But now, again, like I just said, I learned something new that maybe it's good. We need to add. I never felt like I had buildup in my hair. I really didn't. I don't. But my scalp is a whole different story. I'm more oily. I do think,
She's oily.
Yeah. That it's good to do a deep cleanse or clarifier or exfoliation process, maybe once a month, every 2 months, periodically, to do some deep cleansing and start fresh. So again, we have to adjust as we go. You learn, you do, and you adjust, and then you have to. So I think this is like a strong adjustment, but to answer that, I do believe that we're making a shift in what we are doing with the curly girl method.
Yeah, really interesting. For a rare occasion, I actually got to look smart because a number of years back, when the Wen lawsuit was going on, which is really eerily similar to what's happening here. And it was about the same time that, all these hundreds of thousands of co-wash women were absolutely attacking me. And I made a statement on this show, on one of the episodes of this show, and I said, mark my words, if Wen loses this lawsuit, DevaCurl is next, unquote. That was my quote. And a lot of people commented over the last several days that they remembered me doing that. And I got bashed to high heaven for it. Well, how do you like me now? Here we are. Look where we are.
And another adjustment, like I say, I've already made adjustments to my program in my own salon, but, the curly girl method of just using your fingers to detangle your hair, that's fine. If that works for people, good. I'm happy for you. But I do think there's something to using a wide tooth comb. That's not only good for detangling, and as long as you're not pulling and snapping the hair, it's perfectly fine, but it's also stimulating to the scalp, stimulating that blood flow. Now, I remember students that had come to my class that were completely horrified and against using a wide tooth comb in the hair, but then they're the same people that are complaining about not having hair growth or their hair growing slow, or you hear these things, whether it's from clients or whatever, but again, you're never stimulating the scalp. It feels good, but there used to be that old wives' tale about brushing your hair 100 times a night. I have I think 84-year-old client who still does that, and she believes in that, and her hair grows like crazy, and I'm like, yeah, because you're brushing it. But anyway,
right.
I don't recommend that necessarily.
But it feels really good.
Yeah. But I'm just saying to never, put a comb to your head, or some people are allowed, able to, like myself, use the wet brush or the Denman brush. It feels good. You're moving those oils just off your scalp. There's a purpose for it, but also stimulating blood flow. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your patience as Melanie works her way through traffic.
Yes.
That's Daytona 500, or
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was thinking I should be driving a race car. I'm really good at it.
Right. As she works her way through traffic to the front and gets here in winning
And
fashion.
I was not fearful at all.
Not at all. With no crashes.
No
Undamaged.
Well, I avoided the crash.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you next week for episode 157. Remember, special guest, Mrs. Brandy Pope, the Glam Belle. She'll be with us, talk about her DevaCurl hair loss situation and her daughter. So, all right. So, close us with.
Have a good curl week.
Have a great curl week. We'll see you guys. Bye.